Hi, I'm Brandon,
And I'm Mom.
and welcome back to Tansson Talks TV.
Yes, thank you for joining us again today.
Yeah, I always enjoy doing this. And Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon. It is a bright morning, and I am doing fine.
That is so great to hear. And Mom, can you share what show we are speaking about here today?
Yeah, today we're going to talk about Murphy Brown.
But yeah, Murphy Brown is a sitcom that aired for 11 seasons, originally airing for 10 from 1988 to 1998, and then an additional 11th revived season in 2018. And so we're speaking about the first episode of the series titled Respect.
Yes, and Brandon, like I said, we're talking about the premiere episode of Murphy Brown. And just to give some information about that particular episode, um, Murphy Brown, who is a reporter, returns back to work after spending 1 month at the Betty Ford Clinic or the Betty Ford Center. Um, she walks into the office and she is greeted by all of her fellow employers. But then she finds out some things have changed since she's been gone. First of all, she meets her new executive director, who is a young person of 25, and he has made just a couple of changes to their structure. And then she also lines up an interview for Murphy for someone who everyone kind of wants to interview at that time period because of a scandal that's kind of going on. And so that is actually the first episode. And for the little nitty gritty details, you'll kind of have to watch the episodes to see.
Well, Mom, that is good to know, and you can head right into your top 10 list.
Alrighty. So after watching the first episode, I was able to kind of take away some things from what we kind of learned about the series. And first of all, as I kind of mentioned, Murphy has just gotten out of rehab and returns to work, and the place where she works is called FYI. We know that based upon the first episode, Murphy has several secretaries. We see, I think, three come and go in the first episode alone. Um, we learned that there is a character named Corky, and Corky was the replacement for Murphy while she was out. Well, Corky does not have any journalism experience, and she was the former Miss America, but she was a ratings booster while she was there. And so she has been asked to join the team at FYI full time. And that's much to Murphy did not like that idea for that way. But anyway, but Corky's there to join the team. Um, we know that Murphy likes to be in control of her interviews and everything else. Um, we find out that Murphy really likes Motown music. And there's a particular scene at the end that I thought was very, very important. I really like where she does sing when respect. We find out that Murphy has a painter, and his name is Eldon, and so he appears at the end of the episode, and I think we can kind of gather that he will continue in the series, and he even tells her he plans to be around for years and years. Um, there's a bar where Murphy does go, and we learned there's a bartender there, or the bar owner. His name is Phil. And we kind of gather from there that Phil's is going to be a prominent meeting spot for Murphy, and then Murphy's team, and then any guest meetups that she could possibly have. And then all the patrons kind of like to hear what she has to say. Um, as I mentioned before, there is a new executive director to the team, and his name is Miles. And we find out that, like I said, Miles is new, and he's trying to prove himself. He's the executive director of 25 years, and he's 25 years old. And they emphasize that he just graduated, but his background is with PBS. So we have a feeling that all of this is going to come up possibly later on in the series. From this one episode alone, I think we know that political topics will probably be prominent. This series does take place in DC, and that we also know that everyone thinks that Murphy will slip back in her own antics. So they kind of think that they're not quite sure what Murphy will do, and that they believe that she might slip up a little bit. And Brandon, that is my top 10 for the day on Murphy Brown.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for your top 10.
You are welcome, Brandon.
And yeah, and analyzing this a little bit further. So, this episode decides to use Murphy's return back to the workforce as a way to characterize the show and her. And so, overall, in this episode, we see oftentimes that whenever Murphy enters or re enters an environment, that you have numerous people betting towards and against her. Um, and so, and so, because that, we're able to see her personality, how it was before, and how it's slightly changed now, or even if it initially changed and slowly reverts back throughout the episode. And so, it's really interesting to see that dynamic within the episode. And also, too, that we were able to see a bit of Murphy's moral compass as well, and the work ethic that she puts in to her journalism experience. And also, too, with the introduction of Miles as the new executive producer of FYI, we're able to see, yeah, him come in as another initiating event for the episode. But, Mom, I'm excited for us to head into our discussion.
All right, sounds good, Brandon. And let's say, what did I know about the show? Well, Brandon, I just seen bits and pieces. I think I started watching Murphy after she had Avery, or maybe after she became pregnant. Avery is Murphy's son that she does have in the later seasons of the particular show. That is when I kind of started watching it on a regular basis, but then from there it was in and out. So I can say that I have not seen every episode of Murphy. I have just seen bits and pieces of Murphy throughout the time period. When it was on, I did watch. But like I said, I think I just really kind of watched when she had Avery. So that's about as much as I know about Murphy in regards to watching. What about you, Brand?
So I've seen quite a few episodes of Murphy, but not a lot, if that makes any sense. And so I started with the revived 11th season in 2018, and then worked my way backwards a little bit. And so I've seen probably a good scatter of the middle episodes, but no real particular order. and so yeah, but I really do enjoy the episodes I have seen, but I it's nowhere near a lot.
Yeah, and I did kind of like with you, Brandon. I did watch the Revive series. I really did like the revival series of Murphy, and maybe that's one that we could talk about one day as a standalone episode, um, because there are a lot of parallels, of course, going back and forth between this episode and this show and the previous one. But but yeah, that was I did watch all of those, and I did enjoy watching them when they came back.
Yeah, I really did enjoy that revived 11th season. But going back to this one, though, so
Mhm.
overall, what are your thoughts about this episode and setting up the rest of the series?
Well, I thought that they did a really nice job of setting up with this particular episode because it kind of lays the groundwork. They know as a viewer, they kind of lead you to where the series is kind of going. We learn about the character dynamics. I mean, it was just a nice kind of setup episode. We learn about, Murphy's past a little bit, but more so in conjunction with the fact that she was in a drug rehab center. But we also learn, about what she has going on at home and what she kind of values. She values Motown. We know that they make that very obvious. She's got a very very strong personality. Comes out, and those secretaries are just kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it really is quite interesting, especially considering each secretary that she gets is very different from the last one, and most of them are either incompetent in their positions, or Murphy personally does not like them, or or something along those lines. So either they leave on their own, or you know, or Murphy gets rid of them. And even the first time we even see the secretary, she's like, "What happened to my old secretary?" And and they had
Yeah.
left.
Yep. They just kind of disappear. They do. They do. I think my favorite part of this episode really was when she sang at the end. Um, I just thought they did a really nice job of including that little section in there with Murphy singing "Respect," and then of course with Eldon kind of walking in on her, looking at her, and then walking out, and coming back again, and scaring her. So I just thought that was a very nice episode. That part of this episode.
Yeah, and going into that a little bit further, though, so the title of this premiere episode is "Respect," and so, do you think that this is a fitting title for this episode in the beginning of the series?
Actually, I think it is because it kind of goes all over the place. I mean, you're talking about Murphy herself and trying to regain the respect that she had because she's returning to work. She the let's see. The fact that she's a Motown fanatic, and then even with Miles, because he's a new person, and then he's trying to earn some sort of respect because he is a younger person who is trying to, and he has this, very profound and kind of, you know, big show that he's got to produce. And so I think everyone's just kind of trying to earn a little bit of respect, and even Corky and her weirdness, because she is now going to be part of this, of the cast of this particular of this particular show. So, yes, she's trying to earn a little respect, probably from Murphy, because she didn't have the experience coming in. So, I think it is kind of. I think the title is very appropriate for the first episode.
Yeah, and I definitely fully agree with that. And in briefly speaking a little bit about some of the individual characters that Murphy interacts with. So, how would you describe you know her interactions with them and the relationship that they have?
I thought she had a good relationship with all of her coworkers. She I mean, I just thought she had a very nice relationship with all of them. They knew Murphy, they knew her antics, and so they tolerated her. She tolerates them. I mean, but I think she's really good friends with them, as we later find out, of course, through the series. And especially in the revival, you could tell that they all were good friends working together.
Yeah, and definitely, for me, adding on to that too, whereas we see like the character of Frank, and like for them, I definitely see them having a very close, friendship between them, as established in the first few episodes. Even though he doesn't appear much, in the actual episode, but then I think a very important turning point in the episode was, Murphy's conversation with Jim Dial, one of her co-anchors, and I think he very much is a yeah a long time reporter and an anchor that's been there for a while and has the experience. Even though of course Murphy has experience as well, I truly think that Jim embodies like the veteran news anchor, and so she looks to him for support, and he refers to her as slugger. Um, but it's funny that in this episode that when she's going through her scenario trying to process her life, it's like, do you relate? And he's like, nope.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think what's funny is also the fact that they know Murphy so well that they're able to bet, for or against her in different scenarios. So yeah. So I just thought the cast itself was very nice ensemble. I thought they kind of blended pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely think that the cast really works well together, and and just creates such a really great show. And I know, like I said, that we've seen numerous episodes from both the original run and the revived run. But Mom, after having seen this episode, what do you want to see more from the show, and would you continue watching the rest of the episodes that we missed?
Actually, I will, Brandon, because as it comes on now, periodically, I do kind of turn it on. So, yes, I would eventually watch it. Now, whether or not I watch it in order or something else, but I think if the show's on, then yes, I do kind of watch the episode. I mean, I'm finding myself laughing out loud. So, yes, so I would continue watching the episodes.
Yeah, I definitely have laughed out loud myself for many of the episodes that I have seen, and it's been really fun being able to go through the series, and I'm excited to continue doing so.
Yep, same here, Brandon.
Well, I said, well, Mom, I did want to mention too, the show does not have a traditional theme song, but rather just a title card, which to me resembles sort of like a news heading, so to speak. But what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it fits with the show. I'm bothered by the fact that it doesn't have a theme song, but they do have some sort of intro music that goes along with it, if I remember correctly. And so, but yeah, for this show, I think it's effective. So it fits.
Yeah, I definitely think it fits, like I said, with the news centric setting into it. But Mom, is there anything else that you want to discuss before we close out today's episode?
No, Brandon, I think you kind of hit everything today. So, like you said, as I say every week, if there's a show that you want us to kind of review, just write it down in the comments. We'd be happy to take a look.
Yeah, I'm definitely very excited for our future episodes, and I'm very glad that we had a chance to speak about Murphy Brown today in this November 14th, 1988 episode.
Yep, I am too, Brandon. I said, thank you guys for joining us today.
And we'll see you next time.
All right, bye bye.